So that first guy that we're going to open up with, and he has arguably been the most talked about guy in the group, maybe even the most talked about quarterback high school recruit that we've had in a very long time, particularly because of the name that is behind him. We're talking about Arch Manning, who is the committed Texas quarterback, the number one quarterback per 247 Sports in the 2023 class, coming from Isidore Newman in New Orleans, Louisiana. 6'4", 215 pounds. Guys, when I watched him and I took a look at him, it highlights some of the things that we've already discussed with him. He is around football 24/7. He gets a free pass to the Manning Passing Academy every single year. He doesn't have to pay, or at least I would.
He is the Manning Passing Academy.
Exactly. So this guy, man, you watch him play. I think we could sit here and point out the different athletic traits that the guys below him have better than Manning does, but the processing ability, the acumen, the understanding of the game, the instincts, it's very similar to what we had with Eli and Peyton, and we're already starting to see shades of that for a guy who's only a senior in high school.
It's really weird, Joe, watching Arch Manning, because there's two sides to this coin for me right now as far as what the perception is. One is he's the greatest quarterback that ever lived, right? And then the other side is that he's incredibly overrated. There's like nobody in between. But the truth of the matter is there is an in-between ground here, right? He's a very talented quarterback. He is a top 25 to 30 player in this class, regardless of how you kind of want to nitpick some of the traits. But I think that the things that you said are interesting because not only is he an advanced player from a mental capacity perspective, and that's to be expected, he's also a much different player than what his uncles were, right? Like, he's clearly Cooper's son because he's a really good athlete, man. He moves incredibly well. That's one of the things that popped out to me. I mean, they're running quarterback run game, quarterback power, zone read stuff. Like, they're letting him move around a little bit. And the biggest thing for me is that everything is it looks easy to him, right? And that's what's interesting, because we talk about the level of competition. Doesn't play the greatest competition out there in New Orleans, but what he does is clean, easy delivery, good athlete, good size. There's just not many holes in his game, right? And he's just been a guy that's been around the game, so you just expect the mental side to already be there. But I don't want us to undersell the fact that, like, this kid is a very talented all-around quarterback from a just skill set wise perspective.
Yeah, and I think that's something like you're hitting the right points there. He might not be athletically on the same level as these other guys, but he might actually be a better athlete than his uncles are. And, at the age of 18, at 6'4", 215 pounds, he's going to continue. It's guaranteed really for all four of these quarterbacks that within the first 2 years of being in college football, they're going to put on close to 15 to 20 pounds, right? Of just like muscle mass and just growing, as young men, right? As young men do. But, the biggest thing that I kind of took away from it is that, yeah, he is athletic. He is tough. He runs tough. And, when he's on film, he looks every bit of 6'4" and more, right? He has that presence on film. Whereas some other guys, like, yeah, he's 6'2", he's 6'3", but they look small or, a little bit different on film. He looks big and strong in the pocket. What I was really impressed with, too, is just that, he's a smooth thrower. And you could see that he's really running like an offense that allows him to develop that, thought process as a quarterback, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what we're talking about here, is just him being a great quarterback. And I think he's in an offense that's allowing him to learn that process, how to make decisions quickly, how to get the football out of his hands, and still playing at a level of competition too, where, yeah, maybe he can be, big brother and, lean on a few guys too. But let's get it straight though too, right? Like, there's a lot of great football players in New Orleans. He's just not maybe in the upper echelon of leagues as far as depth goes that way.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's really well phrased, man. I would say for me, he is a really just the best thing that I like about his from a throwing perspective, because I think we both coined it the same, right? He's a very smooth, natural thrower.
Absolutely.
I love that he is able to change arm speeds and just kind of layer the football across the field, right? Like I see him throw a touch and anticipation, and he's able to throw because I think that his velocity is good. I wouldn't say that he's like a superb from an arm strength perspective, but he's able to change it so much, a different pace, kind of the level of throw that he is, right? So whether he's hitting the intermediate to deep parts of the field, whether he's throwing to the sideline or hitting some in cuts, whatever it is, he's able to throw with pace, which I love a lot. He has an advanced understanding, I think, of how to throw a touch, and it takes something off the football.
I totally agree. I think that, just the fact that he is a smooth thrower, it is in rhythm a lot. It doesn't look like it takes a lot of effort for him to make the throw. He throws the ball well down the field. Maybe not as well as some of these other guys, or at least not with power, right? Or like outstanding, like, wow, like he could really let it go. But like I kind of compare him almost to, and like this isn't a knock. I'm saying this is a positive note because so many people knock it lately. But like he's kind of like Tua, right? Tua Tagovailoa. He's not like the most powerful Patrick Mahomes thrower, but he throws a really good football. He's in rhythm. He knows where to go with the football. And I think these are things that are like great traits for a young man to have. And, the great thing is too, is that, Sarkisian has had great experience with a lot of talented, versatile football players through college, through the NFL. And I think he's kind of hitting like a perfect spot there to continue to develop his game going forward. And the other thing too, that I don't know if you guys noticed on the film, like I think he throws it extremely well on the run. And that is Sarkisian, like he loves that, half roll setup type of throws, play action, boots and nakeds. And I think that's something that Arch will be able to do very well in the Texas offense.
Yeah, and Joe, I don't know if you, just kind of going off of what Matt just said, what I really love about his fit in the offense as well is Sark loves levels. Like he loves it. So when you have a guy like this that I think can throw with different trajectories and throw to the intermediate deep parts of the field, you need that type of touch, right? And I think that he's really going to be a great fit in that offense as well.
And Texas right now is going to need some help at that quarterback position because they're already down 2 quarterbacks, and we see the impact that had when they played Alabama this year. Quinn Ewers, who is a fantastic athlete, fantastic player, and we saw some signs of what could come from Quinn. Arch might be able to step in and start as a redshirt freshman as soon as Quinn is out the door, if it's either to the NFL draft, if it's to somewhere else. But there is a lot of juice behind Arch Manning heading to Texas. There was an uproar, if you will, over him making that decision and the excitement behind him joining that program, which is really great to see.